Hello, and welcome to another round of Sarah Sabin's Question Time. And this video is a bit of a follow-on video from one that I did last week around some key workplace trends that I see coming up for 2026. This is a continuation of that video, and this focuses specifically on trends that I foresee in the workplace for 2026. And actually, one trend in particular, which is the creation of strategic AI policies within companies. So there was a study done around companies in 2025, and it found that 78% of companies are now using AI. And that's great because AI has a lot to bring to individuals and the workplace in terms of efficiencies that it can bring. However, there are very few companies that are putting forethought or strategy into the use of AI in the workplace versus those companies having a proper AI policy, which is essentially the small minority of companies. And this is a real gap and is going to start to be a game changer in 2026. Those companies that are really strategic in their use of AI versus those that are just kind of slapdash. Some people use it, some teams use it. There's no real guidelines or rules around who can use it and for what purpose. That will start to become a problem for some of the reasons that I'm going to go into. And we've actually seen that it has been problematic in some aspects in 2025. So leaders need to create these AI policies because they need to model how AI fits into the culture and how people will use it. And basically, as well, how people should not be using AI. So you need to be careful about using AI in a context where you are trying to connect with people, whether that be internal emails, external emails, marketing messages, and copy. Because what we saw happen in 2025 is more people are now able to detect the use of AI, and it is really off-putting. So this actually starts to harm relationships with customers, with key stakeholders, if people are picking up on the fact that what they're getting is an AI message. Because let's face it, the element of personal touch is really, really important in building relationships. And we as humans have that empathy and intuition in regards to other people that AI just can't replicate as well. So you can imagine if you have companies within the same industry that are all using AI and open source AI at that, the types of messaging they're going to send is going to start to become very similar. So it's going to be much harder for you to stand out if you are not using AI in its optimal way. Again, I would like to say that in no respect am I saying don't use AI. You need to think about the AI human relationship and how it works together to create the best result without compromising on the humanity and connection of what you're trying to say. So, if we're talking about innovation, again, if you want those real game-changing ideas, AI should not be your first port of call because what AI is doing is picking up on everything that's in the past, everything that's out there. It's making perhaps predictions of the future based on that. But as we are increasingly in a world that's more volatile, more unpredictable, and more surprising, human creativity and innovation and intuition is the place where these new game-changing ideas and concepts and ways of doing things come from. So all of the inventions or real innovative ideas that we've had up to date have come from human genius. You can use AI in conjunction with the human, but it is not the job of AI to innovate for you. And linked into this, AI should not replace a company actually going to the trouble of designing their own strategies and plans. So the reason why I say this as well is, let's say you have a particularly unique sales strategy, which is quite different from your competitors or other companies that are competing for the same market you are. The best companies in the world in their fields are not putting their strategic secrets onto open source AI. So if you're taking your information from there to create your strategy, you're getting information that anyone who asks the right questions could find online. And because the smartest companies have restrictions around what employees can put onto open source AI, you're not getting best in class information, most likely, on strategies. You're getting kind of general information that people tend to put out there. And if you want to be best in class, the likelihood is that you're not going to find this strategy just sitting there for you on open source AI. This is where the human input comes in as well. Although, of course, you can use AI to support that process. There's another key point here that is helpful for the AI policy. Where work could be done by AI because it's more efficient, for example, and it makes sense, but it has a side purpose of being useful for more junior staff to do for the purposes of upskilling or training, then you need to actually factor this into your AI policy as well when you're thinking about what it's good for and what it's not so good for. Think about long term whether it's beneficial to use AI or not, i.e., you know that in 10 years' time, you're still going to bring certain types of employees through the ranks, and you know that they need to do and learn certain things. And the best way for them to learn it is on the job. So therefore, although it might make sense in the short term to use AI to do a specific thing, longer term, you are potentially incurring more costs because the junior employees have to learn this skill, whatever it happens to be, in another way. The other element that's very important to have in the AI policy is strict criteria around checking the validity of the information on AI or that you get through AI. Again, AI has no obligation to give you the correct information. And through laziness, through lack of definitions around policies around AI, it can be all too easy to take that as a gospel truth, not check it, and that can lead to a whole host of problems down the line. Final point here is always think long term. Is using AI in this particular area going to help the company to succeed long term? Bearing in mind that one of the factors for success is standing out within a marketplace, bearing in mind that another factor is having bright people coming through your company and rising up the ranks, and bearing in mind that you want to be sharpening the skill set around creativity, intuition, innovation, empathy, and connection. So the humanity of your company or the humanness of it. That means basically often identifying a balance between making things more efficient and streamlining staff, because the reality is some functions may become irrelevant in the years to come, but also keeping that long-term view in mind as you start to define that policy.